Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Anupubbena medhavi thoka thokaṃ khane khane kammāro rajataseva niddame malamattanu. By degrees, gradually, little by little, moment by moment, bit by bit, the wise person should remove all impurities of mind, just like the smith who removes dross in silver. Friends, this is one of the utterances of the Buddha. Today is the Thanksgiving Day. You all have been practicing from this morning. Now it is the time for us to listen to a Dhamma talk. For this Dhamma talk, our topic is how to purify yourself. How to purify yourself. When I say yourself, there is no self to purify, no permanent entity to be called self or soul to be purified. And purification means also not the physical purification but mental purification of mind. So this is how we want to understand this purification of mind. Before we come to this topic, I think it is not inappropriate to a word on Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, as we all know, started 1789 with the declaration of George Washington. Since then it has been celebrated nationally, on and off nationally it was celebrated. Later on, in 1863, with the declaration of Abraham Lincoln, Thanksgiving was celebrated as a federal holiday. This was started as a harvest festival sort of ceremony, but later on it became a bit different. By now it has become a sort of commercial aspect. We see the commercial aspect of Thanksgiving. And also some sort of unwholesome deeds are done on this day, such as killing. Mainly, the right thinking people can understand this clearly. Mainly, Turkeys have become the victims of Thanksgiving today. That is the sympathetic situation which we Buddhists don't appreciate. We Buddhists cannot appreciate any means of killing. For this Thanksgiving, as I heard, 46 million turkeys have been killed. 46 million here. for the celebration of this day. That is the sympathetic side of this. So we should not do such things. We should refrain things, killing. That is why you all decided, you all got this wise decision to practice, as the Buddha said, practice mindfulness and meditation so that you can come to a great bliss. So friends, this is how we celebrate Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was started to be thankful and grateful to God, to the Creator. That is the purpose. When the people refrain from respecting, from prayers and thanking God or the Creator, they have started different things. So that's what happened. So we, as Buddhists, on this day, we practice, we thank different persons who have helped us in our life. Especially, mainly, we have to respect, we have to be thankful, grateful to our parents. It is because of our parents we are here. It is because of them we are standing on our feet. On this day, we should respect, we should be thankful, pay our respect, gratitude to our parents. Once the Buddha said, monks, there are two persons in this society to whom one cannot be repaid. You know, we can pay off things and say, no, finished, done. But for our parents, Buddha said, for our parents, we cannot say so. Because they have done a lot for us. It is because of them we are here. So the Buddha said, respect them, support them in different manner. Not only parents, what about our teachers? What about elders? This is how we respect, we be thankful to all those who supported us to live in this society. So this is how we celebrate meaningfully, mindfully, meditatively this special day. When we respect, when we be thankful to others, we think of beings. Beings means minds. Beings are there in different realms. According to Buddhist cosmology, there are 31 realms. In all these realms, there are beings. They all have minds. So they are categorized according to the purification, refinements of their minds. There are different beings, like humans, like hungry ghost, woeful states, then humans, then deities, the Brahma, like that, different realms in the world. All they have minds, and minds can be purified. In comparison to other beings, the Buddha said human's mind is a developed mind which can be further developed. For this purpose, Buddha taught us a way. The way is mindfulness. Buddha gave us synonym for mindfulness. That is, in Pali, Buddha said, appamada. Appamada means mindfulness or heedfulness. Appamado amata padang. Buddha said, appamado amata padang. Mindfulness is the way to deathlessness. Pamado machuno padang. unmindfulness is the way to death. Appamatta na miyanti. Those who are mindful and not die. They never die. When become mindful, they become enlightened ones. Enlightened ones don't die. Appamatta na miyanti. Ye pamatta yata mata. Those who are unmindful are like dead ones, though live in society. On another occasion, Buddha said, Appamada rato bhikkhu, the practitioner, who is engaged in mindfulness. Appamada rato bhikkhu. Pamade bhayadassiva, he who knows the fear of heedlessness. Pamade bhayadassiva, unmindfulness. He knows the fear of unmindfulness. Sanyojanang anu tulang dahang aggiva gacchati. He advances as practicing mindfulness. He is advancing like the fire that burns whatever the fetters, whatever obstructions, whether small or big. The mindful person is advancing faster. On one occasion, in the time of the Buddha, Buddha said the stanza which I recited at the beginning. The purpose of giving this verse was a certain Brahmin. A Brahmin, once he saw a few monks were wearing their robes to go for Pindapat, for alms round. They were wearing their robes outside of the building. As they were wearing their robes, this Brahmin saw one monk's robe. The edge of the robe was getting wet with the grass, as it was the grassy place, with the dewdrops of the grass. His robe got wet. Seeing this, Brahmins thought it is better clean this place for monks to wear their robes. So he cleaned the place, and now the place was with soil. After a couple of days, when he came to that place, the monks were wearing their robes to go for alms. He saw, by that time he saw the robe smeared on floor, there's dragged on floor, and the robes got soil. So what he did was spread some white sand on it. So another day, when he came, it was sunny. The monks were not happy as it was sunny. So he built a hut for monks to comfortably stay there and wear their robes before going for alms. So he built a sort of hut. And another time when he came, he saw the monks were there in the hut, though it was raining. So the hut was not big enough for the monks. Thereafter, he decided to build a sort of hole. He built a hole, and finally he offered this hole to the Buddha and the Sangha. For the offering of the hole, this is a special occasion, so he invited the Buddha and he gave a dana. And at the end of this dana, he related the story how this whole came to be. How he first saw the monks while they were wearing, how the monks' robe got wet with the dewdrops. He told this story. On referring this, the Buddha said, Anupubbena medhavi. Anupubba means gradually, little by little, gradually. Medhavi, the wise person. Thoka thokang kane kane, little by little, moment by moment. The wise person should remove impurities from his mind. He gave the simile, just like the smith who removes the dross of silver. That's how the Buddha said. So there are impurities in our mind. We have to remove these so that we can refine, so we can purify our mind. This mind can be purified. According to the discourses, there are 10 types of impurities. Greed, hatred, delusion, conceit, skeptical doubt, speculative view, moral torpor, restlessness, shamelessness, and lack of dread, moral dread. Those are the 10 types of impurities. These are to be removed, these are to be purified. So the Buddha has taught us a way to purify this mind. When we purify this mind, the Buddha's instructions is, you yourself have to do this. That is why it is said as the part of the Dhamma, as the part of the qualities of the Dhamma, Pacchattam veditabbo vinyuhi. It is to be realized by the wise individually. We ourselves have to do this. Once there was a elephant, the king's elephant, King Kosala's elephant. When the elephant was young, he was very strong. But later on, the elephant became old, decrepit. One day the elephant went to the sort of pond where he got stuck in the mud, this bog of mud. He couldn't come out. When it was told to the king asked one of the elephant trainers to go there and take the elephant out of the mud. What he did was, he asked his friends to come and use drums, trumpets, and make like a battlefield, make sounds in like a battlefield, so that the elephant get the battle consciousness, battlefield consciousness. So the people came there and they started to blow the trumpets and beat drums and such thing. Then the elephant thought that it is like the elephant had the consciousness of battlefield. So elephant itself, he himself, with the spirit, he himself came out of the mud. Buddha, when it was informed the Buddha said, Appamada rata hotha. Appamada rata hota. Be mindful. Engage in mindfulness. Appamada rata hota. Sachitta manurakkata. Being mindful, what should we do? Sachitta anurakkata. Protect your mind. Be mindful and protect your mind. Sachitta manurakkata. Dugga uddaratattanam panke sattova kunjaro. Just like the elephant that was stuck on the mud, in the mud itself, the elephant himself came out of the bog of mud. Just like that, arouse energy, be mindful and protect your mind. That was the instructions given. In order to protect this mind, friends, first we have to understand this mind. It is the most difficult thing, understanding this mind. Once a certain deity came to the Buddha and asked, Kenassu niyati loko, Bhante, by what this world is led around. By what this world is led around. World means me, I, the person. By what this world is led around. Kenassu niyati loko. Kenassu parivaritu. Kenassu parikassati. By what this world is dragged here and there. We move here and there. We go here and there. By what this happens? He asked the deity. Kissassa eka dhammassa sabbeva vasamanvagu. What is the one thing that everything is under its control? He asked. Then the Buddha said, Chittena niyati loko. This world is led around by mind. It is the mind. Mind is the vital energy within. It is the fastest energy in the world. Chittena niyati loko. Chittena parikassati. Buddha said, it is by this mind. This world is dragged here and there by mind. Chittena parikassati. Chittassa eka dhammassa sabbeva vasamanvagu. Chitta, it is everything is under the control of this chitta, this mind. Mind is the most important thing. When the mind is purified, beings are purified. Buddha said. When the mind is defiled, beings are defiled. That is how beings are defiled. Not by birth, not by actions, not by many other things, but the mind, because of impurity, because of the defilement of mind, beings are defiled. This mind is luminous. When it is at the beginning, it is luminous. This luminous mind, the Buddha said, monks, this mind is luminous, though with the adventitious defilement, this mind is defiled. Those are impurities. Mainly there are three impurities. Greed, hatred and delusion. These are the most worst things. Worst things. Greed, hatred and delusion. These are to be purified. This mind can be purified. Chittassa dhammato sadhu. It is great, it is excellent. Buddha says, it is excellent that you tame this mind, purify this mind. When the mind is purified, when the mind is developed and cultivated, it brings happiness. This is why we have to understand our mind and purify this mind. In order to purify this mind, we have to understand there are certain darts in this mind. There are darts in this mind. Dart. What are the darts? The Buddha said there are 5 types of darts in our mind. First one, people doubt on the Buddha. Doubt on the Buddha. Doubting is a dart in our mind. Buddhe kankati. Some people don't accept Buddha, don't trust Buddha. Doubting is okay, but we have to do our own examination. We have to do our own exploration and try to understand whether the Buddha was Buddha or not. In a particular discourse named Vimansaka Sutta, Buddha said, do your own investigation and see, try to understand whether the Buddha was Buddha or not. We should not simply keep suspicion, doubt. But whenever we have doubt in the Buddha, it is a dart in our mind. Because of that, we cannot develop our mind. We cannot purify our mind. So first one is doubt on the Buddha. The second one, doubt on the Dhamma. Doubt on the Dhamma. Doubt, we can doubt anything, but we have to do our investigation. With that doubt, with that speculation, we can do our investigation. That investigation is very important. We should not simply believe things. Buddha said, do your own exploration, investigation. The second one is doubt in the Dhamma. The third, doubt on the Sangha. Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, triple gem. Doubt is a dart. Doubt, dart, D. Start with D. Doubt. So, whenever we have such darts, 3 types of dart, doubt in the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha. Next one, doubt on precepts. That itself is a doubt, dart. Doubt and dart. And then the fifth one is get angry with the companions. Always hot-tempered mind. Always anger. Keep grudge with companions. That itself is a dart. So those are 5 types of dart in this mind. We have to remove these doubts. We have to clear our mind, purify our mind on the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha and precepts, and also keep happy mind, loving friendliness with companions. Those are the way to purify this mind. Then the Buddha pointed out there are 5 types of fetters in this mind. See, the mind, though we can't see this, there are many different things in the mind. There are 5 types of fetters in the mind. What are the fetters? Attachment. If we attach to sensual pleasures, it is a fetter. Attachment to sensual pleasures is a fetter. Fetter of the mind. Then attachment to this body, this form, this body. Attachment to this body itself is a fetter. if we attach to this body, what happens? We always want to clean the body and we try to adorn this body. Unnecessarily, we try to maintain this body. So that itself is a fetter. Attachment to sensual pleasures. Secondly, attachment to this body. Third, attachment to form. Whatever we see, form, that itself is a fetter. Then the fourth one is having eaten a lot, simply sleep a lot. That itself is a fetter of mind. The fifth one is doing good deeds with the intention of to be born in heavens, heavenly realms. Those are 5 types of fetters in this mind. Buddha said, monks, as long as you have these 5 types of darts and 5 types of fetters in this mind, development, purification of mind is impossible. Impossible. Purification, the Buddha has taught us the purification of mind. How to purify this mind? Buddha very well designed a technique. That technique is called Satipatthana technique, where the Buddha even expounded a special discourse for this, Satipatthana Sutta, where at the very outset, the preamble of the discourse, the Buddha said, Ekayano ayang bhikkhave maggo sattanang visuddhiya. Visuddhi means purification. Monks, this is the direct way. This is the direct way for the purification of beings. For the purification of beings means for the purifications of mind, our minds. This is the direct way. What is that? The 4 establishments of mindfulness, where the Buddha recommended to establish mindfulness on the body. On the body. Secondly, the Buddha said, establish mindfulness on your feelings. Thirdly, said, establish mindfulness on your mind. The fourth, establish mindfulness on mental objects. These are called 4 establishments of mindfulness. There is a particular discourse named Ratha Vinita Sutta, relay chariots, where Buddha gave us the Venerable Punna and Sariputta. They had a discussion, they had a conversation, in which Venerable Sariputta and Venerable Punna, they discuss about this purification. 7 types of purifications were given in this particular discourse. When they were discussing, Venerable Sariputta asked from Venerable Punna, what is the purpose of practicing? Is that for the purification of virtue? Purification of virtue is the first thing. Then he said no. Then Venerable Sariputta asked, then is that for the purpose of purification of mind? He said no. So purification of mind is the second. The third, he asked, is that for the purpose of purification of view? He said, no. That's the third. Then he asked, then is that for the purification by overcoming doubt? He said, no. That is not the purpose of practicing. That is the fourth one. Then he asked, is that then for the purpose of practicing? Is that for the purpose of purification purification by knowledge and wisdom, knowledge and vision of the path and what is not the path? That is the fifth one. He said, no. Then he asked, then is that for the purpose of purification of knowledge and vision of the way? He said, no. Then finally he asked, is that for the purpose of knowledge and vision? He said, no. These 7 purifications. Venerable Punna said, no. Then Venerable Sariputta asked, then what is the purpose? What is the purpose of practicing? He said, the purpose of practicing is complete realization of Nibbana. Realization of Nibbana without clinging. Anupada Nirodha. Complete purification is that. The realization of Nibbana. For which, as he asked, Venerable Sariputta, as he asked, Venerable Punna gave the 7 chariots, the simile of the chariots. So these are interconnected. He gave the simile. So like that, friends, we have to understand that sort of purification is not only one thing. First thing though is the purification of virtue, sila, morality. That is the first thing. When we purify our mind, there's a gradual process. That is why Buddha said, Anupubbena, Anupubba, gradually, little by little, moment by moment, bit by bit, we have to purify this mind. We cannot do this overnight. When we purify our mind, first we have to understand our sila. Sila is very, very much important. As I said last night, it is the foundation. We build the house on that foundation. Sila. With sila, when we practice sila, we can develop our confidence. Confidence means we trust the Buddha, we trust the Dhamma, we trust the Sangha. Without that confidence, conviction in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, our practice is not come into a sort of development, not come to perfection. So, for the perfection of our practice, completion of our practice, this confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha is very much needed. That is called Saddha. In Pali it is called Saddha. Sometimes it is translated as faith. Faith is twofold. Blind faith and faith with wisdom. We Buddhists talk about faith with wisdom. Always faith with wisdom. We simply don't believe things. We don't want to believe anything simply because of our belief. But we can do our examination, do our investigations, and come to the conclusion. That is how we understand Dhamma, understand other things as well. So, with that confidence, we follow the Dhamma. We listen to the Dhamma. When we listen to the Dhamma, we come to practice more things like charity, generosity. Generosity is also a bit different. When we practice, we have to understand that it is not simply a charity. Generosity is practice being on the ground of sila, morality. And then we practice meditation. When practice meditation, we practice both serenity and insight, samatha and vipassana. Samatha is to calm ourselves, calm our mind. Vipassana is to see things as they are. When we see the change in nature of the object, we can understand that all things are changing. With that understanding, we can understand that whatever is in the nature of changing, it is in the nature of unsatisfactoriness. Whatever is in the nature of changing, unsatisfactoriness, is in the nature of soullessness, without a self. So these three are called three characteristics of existence. Anicca, dukkha, anatta. Impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and soullessness. That is the realization. So that is with our wisdom, panya. In such a way, when we practice, we can practice 5 different factors. We develop these factors. Meditation means we develop these different factors. At the beginning, we should have confidence, saddha, then sila, the virtue, sutta, knowledge, listening to the Dhamma and reading the Dhamma. Then then generosity, dana, chaga, and panya, wisdom, practice in meditation. These 5, at the beginning we practice these 5 things. Once the Buddha said to one of his relatives, named Mahanama, when he was old, once he went to the monastery and he said, Bhante, now the city, this Kapilavastu, the city is quite crowded. There are many different people, animals, vehicles. They are very fast now, unlike those days. Now it is quite crowded, populous. So it is, for me, it is quite afraid. I am quite afraid if anybody, any beings, even any animals come and hit me, I might fall and die on the spot. Bhante, if I die in such a way, what would happen to me? Where would I be born, Bhante? As he said, being afraid. Then the Buddha said, don't be afraid, don't be afraid. If you develop these five factors, confidence, morality, then knowledge, generosity, and wisdom, these 5 factors, you will definitely be born in a good place. So those are the things to be practiced. And when we further practice further and further, we ourselves can become trainees, the state called trainee, Sekha, where we can develop Sekha Bala, the power of trainees, Sekha Bala. There are 5 Sekha Bala. Again, confidence is the first thing. Then Hiri, moral shame. That means we are ashamed to do unwholesome deeds. Shame of doing unwholesome deeds. Then moral dread, fear of doing unwholesome deeds. Hiri. Then energy and wisdom. Those are called 5 Sekha Bala, 5 powers of trainees. When we further practice, we can develop faculties. We have 5 different faculties. Like physically, we have these faculties: eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. These are called faculties. These are physically. But mentally, mental, spiritual powers, spiritual faculties, there are 5 spiritual faculties. Confidence, energy, mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. These are called 5 mental faculties, spiritual faculties. This is how we purify our mind and develop these faculties. Once we develop these faculties, they themselves become powers, and then our mind, our wise attention is powerful. With that powerful mindfulness, that attention, we can understand that our mindfulness is well developed. When the mindfulness is well developed, it becomes a factor of mindfulness. That factor of mindfulness leads us to the attainment of enlightenment. When we have such a powerful attention, such a powerful mindfulness as a factor of mindfulness through which we can do our investigation, that is called investigation of Dhamma. When we have such investigation, it gives us extra energy, virya, extra energy to carry on this, to continue this further and further, practicing, doing this examination, investigation. When you do this examination, investigations, there arises rapture within us. Rapture leads to tranquility. Tranquility leads to concentration. Concentration to equanimous of our mind. It is to this equanimous mind that we can understand suffering, unsatisfactoriness as unsatisfactoriness, the cause of unsatisfactoriness as the cause of unsatisfactoriness, the cessation of unsatisfactoriness as the cessation of unsatisfactoriness, and the path leading to the cessation of unsatisfactoriness as the path leading to the cessation of unsatisfactoriness. The 4 Noble Truths. 4 Noble Truths could be understood through this equanimous mind. When we understand these 4 Noble Truths, we have come to the path, we have completed the Noble Eightfold Path. We have come to the state of knowledge, which is called right knowledge. Right knowledge is possible only through right concentration. When we have right knowledge of the Four Noble Truths, we can realize these Four Noble Truths, and also we can realize stains, different stains in our mind, impurities, subtle impurities, underlying tendencies, which are called taints, asava. In order to understand this asava, we can develop three types of knowledge, where we realize three types of knowledge, which are called Trividya or Tevidya. The first one is the ability to understand our own previous lives. Secondly, we can understand how beings are born to this world and how beings depart here this world and are born in other realms. That's the second knowledge. Third knowledge is the complete destruction of all taints, all impurities. With that knowledge, we can understand that there are three types of taints. Taints of sensual pleasures, taints of existence, and taints of avidya, ignorance. Ignorance is the worst thing. If it is familiar to you, the dependent origination, start with avidya, ignorance. What's the Buddha said? Tato mala tarang, of all impurities, ignorance is the worst one. Tato mala tarang, avidya paramang malang. Ignorance is the worst impurity. Avidya paramang malang. Etang malang pahatvana, having abandoned, having destroyed this particular impurity of avidya, ignorance. Nimmala hota bhikkhavo, monks, be taintless, be free from all taints. When you become free, when you become taintless, completely free from taints, you are one of the enlightened ones in the world. For this purpose, the Buddha taught this Dhamma. Buddha said, Sabbe sankhara anicca, all conditioned things are impermanent. Yada panyaya passati, if you can see this true wisdom, Atha nibbindati dukkhe, then you can turn away from suffering. Esa maggo visuddhiya, this is the way to purity. This is how we have to purify this mind. Simply practice in samatha, simply practice in mindfulness, concentration is not enough to purify this mind. In order to purify this mind, we have to practice both samatha and vipassana. When practice vipassana, which is the uniqueness in the teaching of the Buddha, it is an unparalleled teaching. If we can understand this unparalleled teaching of vipassana, we can see true, we can see that everything is changing, everything is anicca, impermanence, everything is unsatisfactory, everything is soulless. Buddha said, this is the way to purity. So friends, let's understand this Dhamma properly. Real Dhamma. Let's read the very word of the Buddha. Not many different things written later. many commentaries, sub-commentaries, sub-sub-commentaries, many different books. Reading such things you can collect, you can hoard many things in your mind. With that what happens? You don't purify your mind, instead you put many garbage in your mind. You load garbage. Let's purify this mind so that we can live happily, peacefully in this society, and one day we can realize real peace, real happiness of Nibbana. May we all attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.